Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Bucket Think Tank, and today we're going to talk about Man of Steel, issue 6. So instead of going over a play-by-play of the entire thing, we're just sort of going to give quick cliff notes of it. Primarily because this issue is it's pretty much a wrap-up. And it's one of those stories that I really don't like when it does that. And by that I mean everything sort of wraps itself up in a neat little ball, but in this case, we still have more questions than answers. We have some answers. So Superman and Rogol fight. They fight in the Earth's core, then they fight in space, and Superman realizes that he can't win this in a slugging match. He can't just try to tire him out. So he's trying to figure out what to do. Luckily, Supergirl shows up. She tackles him, and in the middle of the fight, she pulls out the Phantom Zone projector, so Rogol is in the Phantom Zone, and that's the end of the Rogol story until further notice. Supergirl has resolved to go figure out the truth about what's happening, about what happened, if Rogol actually was behind the destruction of Krypton, and exactly who he was. That's going to be her mission. Maybe it'll be in her own book. We don't know just yet. We'll put a pin in it. Meanwhile, at the same time in this story, we found out exactly what happened with John and Lois. So if you recall last issue, we found out that the mysterious man that showed up in their house was Jor-El. He came to take John away on a sort of journey to discover himself in the galaxy, to find out who he is, blah, blah, blah. And John wanted to go, and John felt a bit out of character. But here we find out exactly what the cause was. So John is still worried about the events of Super Sons, where he found an alternate reality version of himself that will kill millions of people because he can't control his powers. And so that's been really, weighing down heavy on himself, while at the same time he's still upset that the Teen Titans rejected him. Told him that, they didn't want him on the team. And he just sort of feels a bit out of place. He doesn't feel like he can control anything, and he's hoping that with his grandfather, taking him across the galaxy to discover who he is, what it means to be a Kryptonian to some extent, he'll be able to better control his powers. And Jor-El is also offering for Clark and Lois to come with too. Like, you know what? Why don't you guys come with me? I'm sure this will help my son Clark, or Jor-El or Kal-El sort of, get into the right mindset of what it means to be Kryptonian and whatnot. And Superman says, well, he can't because, he's still needed on Earth. He's got to protect the planet, blah, blah, blah. And Lois says, well, I'll go. She texts her lawyer to figure out exactly what the next book is going to be because she has a book deal. Her first book deal was a tell-all about the stories she's written at the Daily Planet, and this one here is going to be about her journeys through space with John, or presumably just Superboy. She won't go into exact details as to exactly who that person was. Clark is still a bit hesitant at this idea. He's still not quite sure it makes sense, no. The events of the Oz effect have clearly already happened. And he doesn't trust this man. And he doesn't trust pretty much anything that he says. But this is important to John. John really feels he has to go. And the sort of agreement is that, fine, he'll go, but he's still not happy about it. And Clark gives Lois effectively his main Superman suit. It will adjust to fit her, and he'll find something else to wear, which is presumably where the red trunks of Superman will come from that he's going to be wearing. And this explains why he seems a bit out of it here and there. Because it's not just that they went with someone he trusted, he went with someone he didn't trust. He doesn't know when they'll be back, and even more so now that the one way that he had contacted them, which was via a device Jor-El gave them, was in a Fortress of Solitude when Rogol attacked, was probably destroyed. So he's just sort of lost and wandering aimlessly with no way of knowing if John and Lois are all right. So that was fun. Well, it's interesting, and it's a bit sad to see him go through this. And now, finally, at the end of this comic, we found out that a little boy goes to the fire department to say that he saw who was starting all those fires. Remember that plot point a few issues ago? And he says that the person who was doing those fires was Superman. And that's pretty much it for this issue. So this issue was fun. I thought it was pretty fun, pretty great. But overall, I think as a whole, this series felt it wasn't all over the place. But it really wasn't that consistent. Rogol went from being a rather interesting villain in the beginning to just sort of, like I said before, just the mountain, but the mountain with even less of a purpose. At least the mountain enjoyed what he did. Rogol sort of acting like it's important that he does this, but It went from being, I'm afraid of what this entire planet could do, to now I'm afraid what this specific species can. So it's clear he has some other issues with Kryptonians. But at the same time, we're not getting any other answers. We still don't know what Rogolzar is. We still don't know exactly what the symbol on his weapon was. Was it a symbol of the Council of Old Space People, who he petitioned for permission to, destroy Krypton? Do the Guardians know that Appa Aliapso is part of this council? And still exactly what's going on with the Daily Planet. So did Lois officially just quit the Daily Planet, or is she just gone? We don't quite know, and it's clear that Clark's not telling anyone. Didn't even tell Supergirl until the end of this issue. Out of these 6 so far, I would have to say the first one. I want to say the first 3 or 4, I think, are still the best ones. But once Rogolzar showed up, the story sort of went a different direction, and the direction didn't quite work. It felt like these 6 issues are just designed to really let us know how Bendis plans to write Superman, as well as leaving all these things in the air for them to play off later in the Superman book, which starts next week, and Action Comics, which starts on the 25th of July, which we will be going over on this channel. So with that in mind, we're going to bring this video to a close here. If you're new to the Bucket Think Tank, feel free to like, comment, share, subscribe. Feel free to check out some other videos as well, and I will catch you all later. This is the Bucket Think Tank signing off. May your fandom serve you well.